All right, guys, welcome back. We have Chiefs 49ers once again in the Super Bowl, and this is my take on the game and how it went down. If you watched my last video, I did kind of call the game. I said Niners gonna go up pretty big, about 10 points. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball late. He drives, he scores, they win. So if you haven't seen that, that was posted. Sorry to brag. If you guys did not see that, go ahead and see that. That was posted right before the Super Bowl, about 10 o'clock Pacific time, and the Super Bowl was about 3:30 Pacific time. So go watch that and then come back to this video. Was totally wrong, and I'll take that as my fault about the props. That Brock Purdy was gonna have more scrambling yards than he did. I think he got 12. The line was 12.5. I thought he had it, and then I think they took it away. I thought Kittle had 3 catches at the end of the game instead he had 2. Deebo was out of the game a lot, I'd say, and then CMC was getting the ball fed. I was right. I should have took that one. CMC more than 100 or 135 rushing and passing touchdown yards. So I should have took the under in that one instead of taking something else. I did take the MBS. I was right about that one on the more than 1.5 receiving receptions. And then Kelsey came back in the second half. He got his over, I think it was like 82 receptions. So I was pretty good on that. As in terms of the game went, so I wrote down the goods, the bads, and some question marks that the 49ers should think about going into the next season. So the first thing I have is keep the GM, keep the coach. So the GM, they have what the Chiefs have is they want to win. They want to win. They want to win soon, and they want a good team, and they want to compete year in, year out. So if the GM and the coach stay, Coach Shanahan and the GM, I forgot the name, but if those two guys stay, the team should be pretty good. I think Coach Shanahan's game script going to this game, he fed the ball. So the people that got the ball the most was CMC, Jennings, and actually Brock Purdy. So he put the ball in Brock Purdy's hands quite a bit, and he put the ball in CMC's hands quite a bit. So going forward, I think the players that should need to stay on this team are Brock Purdy, CMC, George Kittle, because he can be a deep threat, over the top. He blocks for the running back, and he has maybe about 3 to 4 more years, so put him on another contract. And then Brandon Ayuk, he got only, I think, 2 or 3 catches, so he was under his prop, but that guy was blocking. And I mean, if you want to get, this goes into my next point, or my later points, keep Ayuk. He's a younger, basically, Deebo Samuel, with more fight in him, and he plays for his receivers. So actually going into next season, we do have Juwan Jennings, I believe was his name, Jennings, number 15. He played a really good game, and he was blocking outside for those receivers. So you know that guy wants to play for his team. I believe he would be the Brandon Ayuk of this year, and then Ayuk should be the Deebo of this year also. So those are the 2 guys that I would keep, and then Kittle, CMC. Those are your 4 core. You get rid of Deebo. In my opinion, Deebo looked pretty hurt in the game, pretty old, as well as Trent Williams. If you guys don't agree, then, I mean, he did have a couple offsides, holding calls. I mean, that guy is just looking old. People like the name. They should trade him for draft picks, or just to keep the cap space on their team low so that they can get other guys in and more depth on their team. like we saw in KC, it doesn't matter about the whole team and how good the core starters are. It's about depth and how willing the team wants to play for those wins and for their coaches and for their players. So for the bads for the 49ers, I saw the O-line, like I talked about. The players are just getting old, and then maybe the coach. If the coach doesn't have so much to bring for the offensive lineman, maybe it's just Trent Williams that just teaching these young guys, and maybe it's not that coach. So I'd get rid of that O-line coach. Those old players too as well. Like Trent Williams, like I just said. And then Deebo Williams, in this game, my dad used to always tell me, if you're not hurt, don't go down. And maybe he went down to conserve some clock, Deebo, or maybe his hamstring was hurting. But, I mean, there was other players like Kittle that were able to get out on the sideline to go get checked out. But he put his team first. He knew that he had to get Kittle, knew that he had to get someone else in the game for him. And I think Ayuk, just if he's not feeling good, if he's not getting the ball, if he's not blocking for the team, that those are little things that the Chiefs, if he was on the Chiefs, they would know, okay, this guy, he plays for himself a little bit too much. We need a player, maybe not as good as Deebo, but a player that holds the team together. It's like chains. I don't know if you've heard that analogy. If there's one chain that's broken, the whole chain is messed up. And then corners. This one I had a question mark on. Did the defensive coach, he did pretty good in the first half against Mahomes, but I think that Mahomes and Reed, like Shanahan, they try to do some fancy stuff early in the game, and they didn't stick to their core. And that's why I think the Chiefs were falling back in the first half. And then Mahomes, he kind of got flustered in the first half, got a little too antsy maybe. Maybe because he wanted to help his guy Kelsey, showing off for his girlfriend or whatever. But who knows? And then we have the defensive coach, like I said, and then the corners. Those two can maybe go hand in hand. Maybe they need more corners, better corners, or maybe they just need a better coach. Well, one of the two has to go. Either new players on the draft picks, new guys that maybe teams didn't want to pay, they know how to play, and that play for the team. But the team has to be the number one priority going forward. Everybody plays for each other. Get this contract nonsense out of other people's minds. Maybe you can have a $4 or $5 million more, or maybe even $10 million more for like a 4-year or 5-year contract. But giving people this amount of money, $250 million for 5 years, just if you're not the quarterback, you're not getting that, brother. So I hit Deebo Samuel. I hit on him on why they should get rid of him. I'm gonna go to Greenlaw, even though he played a good half. At the end of the game, he got hurt Achilles, so I think they have to cut him, get rid of him because he got hurt, and they don't know how he's gonna play at next year. We have Bosa. He played a really good game, I think, Nick Bosa, but I think he has to get cut. I think they have to go or get traded or something for a draft capital. I don't think they need to pay that guy, or I think they did actually at the beginning of the year. I think they did pay him. So they have to stick with him. They have to find a way to keep him as healthy as possible. He did a really good job containing, and then at the end of the game, they try to get sacks. They try to get pretty. They try to be the superhero, and it didn't work out. They didn't stick to the plan, and that was his fault. And then I already hit on Trent, their tackle. He had two mistakes in the first half, hold and then false start, and that just can't happen as a leader. He has to either get better. I know he said he wanted to play for this team again, So if the San Francisco 49ers wants to do that, I think they should. But I don't think he's like a total necessity. I think they can get some guy for a little bit cheaper that's maybe a little bit more coachable, has a little bit more upside, hasn't hit his prime or is in his prime and is not past his prime. And then they can get rid of him, get maybe a draft pick or two, or just keep some money for other players. And then Chase, he played a really good game. I think he had a couple sacks. I think my dad said I only seen one. I didn't know it was him the second time. But because he played good, I don't think he's necessarily fits into the fighter mentality for his team. And that's why I think he needs to either be traded or he just needs to go to another team or get cut. But he showed up in the big game, but throughout the season, he just didn't feel like he wanted to be there. So, I mean, other teams will take him because they saw the Super Bowl. Of course, they saw his big sack. Oh, he can still do it. And I think if you're the 49ers, if you're smart, get rid of him. All right, now I'm going to hit on the Kansas City Chiefs. So, one thing that popped out was they're just different, bro. They just think differently. Like I was mentioning earlier, I don't know if you were catching it, but they have a feel for the team. They're all team players, even though maybe they don't look as pretty and they don't have the biggest names as the San Francisco 49ers, the CMC, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. They have guys that are willing to work and do the boring stuff. I have it here. Hard work, a.k.a. the boring stuff, wins games. So I think Andy Reid is a good leader. I think I heard his training camps are freaking hard. And I think these guys just want to win, and Patrick Mahomes knows that he can get the best out of his players. And with good leaders like Patrick Mahomes, with good leaders like Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, their coach, they can win really good football games. And like I just seen in yesterday's Super Bowl. And the third thing I said was, like I was saying throughout this whole video, players want to play for their coaches and teammates. I'll give you two examples. So one is Toney. In the little clip that they had of him, they said, "Are you the number one receiver?" In my opinion, he should have said, "If they give me the ball, yeah." If that was me and if that was a player that I wanted on my team, if I was Andy Reid, and if I think he wanted the ball back or give him the ball back again, I'd say, if I was Toney, yes, because I believe that my team, I work very hard for my team, and my team knows how hard I work, put in the work day in, day out, and I'm just there for my team. Brady says it also. He said it in the podcast with Patrick David, even though it sounded a little bit vanilla, like he was holding something back. I think that's just the blueprint of football. That's just the game. You have to surround your guys, your team with great players. I think that's what the difference in this game, this Chiefs, and that's the similarities between this year's Chiefs, this little dynasty that they're saying, this Chiefs team, and the New England Patriots, the Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. These guys they don't want to play for money. They don't want to play for fame. They want to play for each other. That's the big one. They want to play for each other. And they want to be better than the other dynasties. My dad's a Cowboys fan. He always talks about those Cowboys with Troy Aikman, youngest guy with 3 Super Bowls. Then he talks about his team in the 90s. Well, the Chiefs want to be better than that team. The Chiefs want to be better than other teams that have come in the past. The Chiefs want to be better than Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Well, they're still writing their script. They're still the writers. They're still the writers, brother. They can do it. They're the only ones that can. And the second example of that is in the opposite of Toney. Isaiah Pacheco fumbles the ball once or twice, slips out of his hands, but Patrick Mahomes believes in him, and he believes in the team that he can help the team. He's a team player. He runs hard for the team. Isaiah Pacheco in his press conference, you can see he's fired up, but not for himself, for the team. And Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they believe in him, and he believes in those guys. I'm going to end with this, guys. My favorite plays of the game. So I have Kelsey with the drag route in the fourth quarter. I think this is crucial. This is just classic Travis Kelsey. Give me the ball, Patrick Mahomes. You're my number one option. When the game's on the line, I have to go to you if I'm passing. And that's when he believed more in his arm, Patrick Mahomes, and his legs. He needed a couple more yards, and he believed just Travis had the best one-on-one. My second best play was the Mahomes sneak. Again, Mahomes, late in the game's on the line. Like Tony Romo said, who's going to have the ball at the end of the game? He's not going to give it to a rookie at the end of the day. Isaiah did fumble the ball. He did mishandle the ball. And the Niners just felt like they were there. They needed one more play. And Mahomes said, no, I'm going to keep the ball. I have Kelsey if I want to throw it. And corner took Kelsey. So he had that lane to just run, get that first down. And he did. And the last play, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I noticed this. And thinking back on it, it just brings to light who Patrick Mahomes is as a quarterback. So he throws the ball to MVS. MVS goes back a couple yards. And then he throws the ball right to MVS back again for a couple more yards to get him in like 3rd and 5 or something. That's the play that no other quarterback, not even a defense, would know to guard that guy. Oh, that guy, he went back. He hurt his team. They're not going to throw to that guy again. Patrick Mahomes knew he was going to be open because of that. And so he did a little, boom, dump off to MVS. Got a couple yards. And I think Patrick Mahomes, knowing the defense isn't going to cover this guy, this play is going to be open, that's what gave him the belief again in his teammates that these guys know what they're doing and they're playing for something bigger than themselves. Because it was the Super Bowl yesterday, double bonus. I told you that I was going to end the pod with that. I think what I have here is Kansas City, if they want to make history, everybody knows already this part, the three-peat. And I believe they can do it. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do it. But if they want to go out as a team that is serious about this, as no questions asked, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey and Andy Reid could walk off the stage as champions if they do these three things. 17-0, undefeated in the regular season. They have this team that believes in each other. They can add a couple more players maybe. They can get deeper if guys get hurt. The second thing, they beat a better Bills team again. Then they beat an upcoming CJ Stroud. This guy he's gonna be different. He's gonna be the one of the guys that's constantly in the playoffs. This guy is gonna be different. I saw him this year. He's pretty good. So if they beat the Bills, if they go undefeated in the whole season, go undefeated, then beat the Bills, then beat CJ Stroud, then beat a healthy Joe Burrow. Healthy Joe Burrow. better team, Cincinnati Bengals. They beat a healthy Joe Burrow. And then they top it off with the championship in Super Bowl 59. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce can all walk out of their careers saying we are better than the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. No questions asked. 17-0, and we closed it with the championship. Three-peat. We're even better than Michael Jordan. I think that would be something for the books. I mean, something for the ages. Nobody can top that. That is the team of teams if that happens. All right, guys. If you guys like the content, if you guys like what I'm putting out there, leave it in the comments below. I know I said that last podcast, and I forgot to leave those comments open. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya. Oh, and spam Colin and Nick Wright and John Middlecoff with my stuff. So those guys are amazing. Those guys helped me out throughout this whole season. And I'm just the guy that thinks outside the box. Later, guys.